A pleasant morning to everyone, especially to our instructor, Mr. John Lennon L. Reyes. I am Giselle Paglinaon Alpot, and I am here together with my group mates, Kian Pababair, Marvin Lee Perilla, Rizal Tuisa, and Lauren Magbuo to discuss about the Stage 6 of Psychosocial Development Theory by Erikson. So we are done with 5 stages, which is the stage 1 is trust versus mistrust, stage 2, autonomy versus shame, stage 3, which is the initiative versus guilt, stage 4, which is industry versus inferiority, stage 5, which is the identity versus role confusion. And now, we are here on stage 6 of Psychosocial Development Theory by Erikson, which is the intimacy versus isolation. We all know that young adults, or as our age, as young adults, we are still eager to blend our identities with our friends. We want to fit in. We want to feel our sense of belongingness with them. Gusto nating ma-feel na yung identity natin ay fit sa identity ng ating mga kaibigan o sa lahat ng mga nakapaligid sa atin. Erikson believes that we are sometimes isolated due to the intimacy. Bakit kaya? Because takot tayong ma-reject. We are afraid of rejections dahil sino ba sa inyo yung nakaranas na ma-turn down? Makaranas na i-break up ng kanilang partner? Diba you feel na ang sakit? So we are familiar with pain. But some of us or many of us na kinukonsider yung rejection as painful. But we cannot say that our egos can bear the pain. Erikson argues that intimacy has a counterpart, distanciation, the readiness to isolate and, if necessary, to destroy those forces and people whose essence seems dangerous to our own, and whose territory seems to encroach on the extent of one's intimate relations. So nangangahulugan lamang ito na kapag ang tao ay na-establish na niya ang kanyang sariling identities, ready na siya. It means na ready na siyang makipag-commit o gumawa ng isang long-term commitment sa iba. Dahil yun sa capable na siyang mag-form ng intimate or reciprocal relationships sa mga friends or close friends or through marriage. Like, kaya na niya mag-sacrifice. Kaya niya nang i-compromise yung mga hinihingi ng relasyon. Pero kapag ang tao naman ay hindi pa niya na-establish yung sarili niyang identities, hindi pa siya makakapag-form ng isang intimate relationship. Perhaps dahil yun sa kanyang pansariling pangangailangan, hinahanap niya pa yung kanyang sariling identities. Dahil hindi naman tayo makakapag-commit kung hindi pa natin alam yung sarili natin pagkatao at hindi pa natin gaano kilala yung sarili natin at hindi pa natin alam kung ano yung gusto nating mangyari in the future sa ating buhay. At dahil sa pansariling pangangailangan, pagpupunan sa pansariling pangangailangan na yun, maaaring mag-result ito ng sense of isolation. I-isolate natin yung sarili natin muna sa iba. Ihihiwalay muna natin yung sarili natin. Ididistansya, kumbaga. So in this stage, stage 6 of Psychosocial Development Theory by Erikson, which is the intimacy versus isolation, is for young adults, age 19 to 40 years old, which has the virtue about love and the major question, will I be loved or will I be alone? So for more information, here's Miss Kian Pababair to discuss about intimacy versus isolation.
Hi everyone, my name is Kian Pababair. So now, we're going to discuss about the 6th stage in Erikson's psychosocial theory of development, which is the intimacy versus isolation. So the first question is, what is intimacy? So Erikson believed that it was vital to develop close committed relationship with other people. No? Mas maganda kung makapag-form tayo ng harmonious relationship. Para matamo natin si harmonious relationship, merong closeness sa pagitan ng dalawang tao. No? Hindi yung civil lang yung treatment natin sa kanya, civil lang yung treatment natin sa nila sa atin, no? Napapansin natin ngayong edad natin ngayon sa mga kabataan, no? Gusto natin yung taong pwede natin pagkatiwalaan, pwede natin bigyan ng payo, yung mga ganun, yung close na close natin, no? So, yun na nga yung ating topic for today, which is intimacy versus isolation. So, this stage defined as the desire of a person to form meaningful connection with other people. It happens in young adulthood, particularly around age 19 to 40 years old, no? So, it is an act of forging emotional bonds, no? Pero bago natin malaman yung pinakang meaning ng intimacy, no? When we hear the word intimacy, what comes into our mind, no? We may imagine sexual relationship, no? Merong nangyayari lang sa mag-partner, but sabi nga ni Erikson, intimacy is much more than that, because intimate relationship as those characterized by love, honesty, and closeness. So meaning, pwedeng mangyari kahit kanino, no? Basta si closeness ay nasa pagitan ng dalawang tao or ng marami, or sila basta nandun nabubuo. Si civil treatment kasi, hindi natin siyang masasabing intimacy kasi hindi pa siya ganon kalalim yung relasyon ng isang tao sa isa. Kung civil na treatment mo sa kanya, kahit na close kayo, pero hindi natin masasabing intimacy kasi nga, si intimacy requires closeness. So, ang hugging, touching, or kissing ba ay example ng intimacy. So, yes, example po siya ng intimacy. Bakit? Dito natin malalaman yung types ng intimacy. So, meron tayong 4 types ng intimacy, which are physical intimacy, experiential intimacy, emotional intimacy, and last but not the least is cognitive or intellectual intimacy. So now, physical intimacy, it includes physical sensation like hugging, kissing, touching, or sex. No, it's all about touch and closeness. No, it is an act or reaction or way to express feelings na yung reaction ng katawan, di ba? Example nito ay yung nanalo kayo magkakaibigan sa dance competition. So, ang tendency ninyo ay magyayakapan kayo kasi yung reaction ng katawan ninyo, yung physical intimacy. No, tandaan natin, si physical intimacy is all about touch and closeness, no? Ang weird naman na magkakaibigan na pag nanalo ay nagtititigan lang, no? Physical intimacy, it's all about, tandaan natin, it's all about touch and closeness. So, the second one is emotional, experiential intimacy. So, experiential intimacy is the ability to enjoy leisure time with one another. So, sabi nga nila, it's important to share some experiences with other people, no? Yung walang distraction. So, sino ba or ano ba yung pwedeng makapag-distract, no? Para matamo si experiential intimacy. So, first ay pwedeng gadgets or pwedeng ang work, no? So, yun na nga, pwedeng example nito ay taking walk or biking na mas maganda yung walang distraction. So, pwede example nito sa magkakaibigan yung outing, bonding nila, ganon, yung after ng work ay kakain sa labas. Yun, example siya ng experiential intimacy. So, the third one is emotional intimacy. So, this is the feeling of mutual trust and kinship with others. So, it involves perception of closeness to another that allows to share your personal feelings, no? Both you and your partner are comfortable or feel safe with each other, no? Pero bago natin matamo si emotional intimacy, kailangan si trust ay nasa pagitan ninyong dalawa or ninyong lahat. So, si emotional intimacy, no? It was being able to tell each other your deepest fears and dreams. So, si emotional intimacy, karamihan kasi nangyayari to sa mga magkakaibigan, no? Yung example niya ay yung pagbibigay ng sikreto, pagpapabayan ng sikreto, ano, kasi meron kang malaking tiwala sa pinagsasabihan mo. Siya ay example ng emotional intimacy. So the last one is cognitive or intellectual intimacy. So this is the ability to freely communicate ideas and thoughts with another. So pwede example niyo yung debate, no, yung paglalaban niyo yung mga point of views niyo, yung paniniwala niyo, or pwede rin, di ba, pag may na-encounter tayong tao kahit hindi natin ka-close, no, or hindi natin kaibigan, basta paras yung interest natin, parang may nag-uudyok sa atin na parang may nag-uudyok na makipag-close, no, di ba, kasi nga paras kayo ng interest, di ba? So, cognitive or intellectual intimacy na yung may comfort ba, yung you are free to communicate, no, pwedeng sa magkakaibigan, parang pinaka-example din yan. Siguro example din yan yung kahit may mga profanity words na nababanggit, no, na sa barkada nyo lang nababanggit, ay parang komportable pa rin kayo. Kasi nga, closed kayo, may closeness sa pagitan ninyo lahat. So, tandaan natin, si intimacy requires closeness, no? Merong loved, no? Or merong honesty, or merong closeness. So, si isolation naman, no? Kabaligtaran niya. Kasi, si isolation is when the people don't foster relationship and they socially isolate themselves, consequently leading to feeling of loneliness, no? Mas prefer nilang iniilag yung sarili nila sa ibang tao, no? Common example niya ay yung pagiging independent, no, ng isang tao, kagaya college student ka na, no, mas gusto mo maging independent, tumayo sa sarili mong paa, no, maging pwede rin, kaya mas gusto nilang i-isolate yung sarili nila, pwedeng mayroong cost, no. Si intimacy na nananahimik ay pwede siyang maging cost. Bakit, no? Example, sa sobrang na-attach ka na sa isang tao, tapos nagka-feelings ka na rin mag-best friend na lalaki, tapos mag-best friend na babae, no? Na-inlove si best friend na babae kay lalaki, no? So, dahil takot siyang ma-reject, no? Afraid of being rejected, no? Mas pinili niyang ilayo yung sarili nila, no? Kahit close sila, kahit na may involved na kasi ng feelings, ay meron pa rin may wall sa pagitan nila. Kahit masabing nag-uusap nila, hindi na katulad ng dati, no? Medyo humihiwalay na. So, another example ay kunwari, meron kang kaisa-isang kaibigan, no, simula kindergarten hanggang mag-high school, ay magkaibigan kayo, pero kailangan niyang umalis. So, umalis siya. So, ang tendency sa iyo ay pwedeng hindi ka na, pwedeng maging madala ka na, no, iiwas mo yung sarili mo sa ibang tao kasi takot kang pwedeng umalis sila, o yung mga bago mong kaibigan, takot kang makipagkaibigan ulit kasi natatakot ka, no. So, example lang siya ng isolation, no. So, pwede ring example, magiging example na kahit maraming nagmamahal sa'yo, kahit maraming kang kaibigan or pamilya na nakapalibot sa'yo, pwede mong maramdaman yung na nag-iisa ka kasi iniisip mo, nagiging negative thinker ka kasi iniisip mo na mga fake people lang sila, na Tupperware sila pag nakataliko, tapos lata sila pag nakaharap, yung mga ganun. So, kaya rin gusto mong i-isolate yung sarili mo kasi iniisip mo na no one will understand you, no? You are afraid that no one can understand you sa nararamdaman mo, no? Kaya mas pinili mong i-isolate na lang yung sarili mo, no? So, tandaan natin, si intimacy, no, it's all about closeness. It's all about pwedeng love, no, honesty, nangyayari sa pagitan ng dalawang tao, or tatlong tao, or apat na tao, no. But it doesn't include solely romantic partners, but also include the desire for friendship, the desire for family. Tandaan natin. So, si isolation naman, ito naman yung taong mas gusto na lang na iilag nila yung sarili nila, yung kabaligtaran ng intimacy, no? Pagiging independent. So, I think that would be all. So, the next reporter is Mr. Marvin Lee Perilla.
Good day, everyone. I'm Marvin Lee Ciferilla, and I'm here to discuss the 5 stages of intimacy. So first, let's talk about the first stage. Beginning of the romantic relationships often includes higher level of passion and intense interest. You may want to talk with the new romantic partners for hours and feel distressed when you are apart from them. Some of relationships are only rooted in infatuation and usually referred to as lust. Infatuation happens early and tends to become obsessive. It is also a very quick attraction on someone. When we say infatuation, dito na pumapasok yung interest at admiration. Meaning, ang isang tao ay nagpapakita ng matinding interest o admiration on someone, or also what we call strongly obsession. Kung minsan, nasasagi natin sa isip natin ang unreasoning attachment, pero we don't know na infatuation pala ang tawag sa bagay na iyon. Nowadays, we see our affection on someone as love, pero it is not. It is an infatuation. And remember, relationship that stuck in infatuation stage usually don't last. Next is the landing stage. This is the stage that marks the ends of infatuation period, as the partners in the relationship begins to notice each other flaws and grow more comfortable spending time apart. Sinasabi na ang landing stage ang pinaka nakakatakot sa lahat ng stages ng intimacy. Kasi dito na nagsisimulang mapansin ng partner mo yung mga negative sides and flaws mo. Nakakatakot kasi may possible na hindi niya matanggap iyon at may possible din naman na matanggap niya yon. Ibig sabihin lamang ay malalim na yung connection nyo sa isa't isa. Landing usually refers as a stability because the relationship falls into a more comfortable kind of love. And at this point, we start to see things more clearly, and this is the stage where the real life and relationship begins. The third stage is the boring stage. It occurs when the relationship has become buried under daily routines. During boring stage, all the to-do list and everyday life begins to settle down in the relationship. Kadalasang nangyayari ito sa mga magka-live-in na partner. Ang mga simpleng halimbawa nito ay ang pagtatanong sa partner mo kung sino ang maglalaba or kung sino ang magluluto ng hapunan. Kumbaga, nagiging busy na kayo sa mga pang-araw-araw na buhay at nakakalimutan nyo na kung paano maging sweet sa isa't isa. But this stage is not bad. This means that the relationship is real and is starting to waves into everyday existence. The important word here is to unbury yourselves. Kumbaga, dapat kinakalimutan nyo muna yung mga pang-araw-araw na problema at binibigyan nyo ng time ang mga sarili nyo na makapagpahinga. Kahit ilang beses nyo nang nagawang mag-date nung nagsisimula pa lang kayo, ay maaari nyo ulit iyong ulitin na maaaring magbigay sigla at magpalitaw ulit sa inyong relasyon na magtutungo naman sa susunod na yugto ng intimacy, which is the resurfacing. So the fourth stage is the resurfacing stage. It is the way of deepening the love between the partners. Resurfacing is the stage wherein it is the resolution of the relationship. And at some point, you may start thinking how lucky you are to have someone in your life. Dito na pumapasok yung tinatawag nating maturity at responsibility ng relationship. Moreover, you are more secured in this stage of relationship. At dagdag pa rito, you are willing to reinvent the relationship and take forward. Kung sa tingin nyo lahat ng stages na nabanggit ko kanina ay nalagpasan nyo na at nandito na kayo sa last stage, ay congrats dahil may chance na may forever kayong dalawa. So, the last stage is the love. Love is an enduring connection to one's partner that is all-encompassing and firm. Love is the stage wherein the expression of intimacy goes deeper. Dito na pumapasok yung terms na gradual at realistic. Tandaan na hindi na lang ito basta physically based attraction, but more than that na, kumbaga soul's connection ang matatawag. And also, there's an emotional bond between the partners and it lasts a long time. Unlike dun sa infatuation stage. At bago mapunta sa stage na ito, it needs to develop time, not instant. Dagdag pa rito ay there's a solid connection inspired by adoration. At sa stage na ito, everything is real and love is strong and it strengthens because it is real. So that's all about the 5 stages of intimacy. For the next topic, it will be discussed by Miss Crisel Tuisa.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to discuss the causes of intimacy and isolation. Let's start with the causes of intimacy. First is strong and deep relationship. This is the first factor that help us to build our intimacy because you felt love and you were always happy, that make you positive thinking every day. And it also build our self-esteem that help us to make a decision every day. Second is close relationship with family and friends. It also help us to build our intimacy because if you have friends, you have someone to tell your secrets, which is nakakatulong sa'yo upang gumaan yung loob mo. Let me have an example for it. Like for example, you were a college student wherein usually pag college ka na, malayo na yung bahay mo sa school. So, you have to get a dorm. So, in that dorm, it is new environment, new people. So, you need to overcome your fear from rejection kasi you will socialize by others so you can have friends. And also, if you have a strong relationship with your family, even malayo ka sa kanila, still nandun pa din yung care and love mo. At ganun din yung family mo sa'yo na nakakatulong sa atin to build our intimacy. Siyempre, bilang tao, mahalaga sa atin yung meron tayong kaibigan at merong pamilya na nagsosuporta para sa atin. And also, in this stage, palagi nang merong bago kasi 19 to 40, doon na nagsisimula yung first, yung first on college ka na. Then second, pagkatapos mo ng college, syempre mag-work ka na, which is pasok na pasok dito sa stage na to na kailangan talaga nating ma-overcome yung fear natin from rejection para magkaroon tayo ng intimacy. Lastly is the strong social support, which is, this is very important for every one of us because like what I said kanina na on this stage palagang merong bago. So, kailangan natin na merong nagpupush sa atin or nagpapalakas ng loob natin na gumawa ng isang bagay, which is nagda-doubt tayo sa sarili natin. Importante ito kasi makakatulong to sa atin upang gawin yung gusto natin. Kahit na may doubt tayo sa sarili natin, kapag merong tao na nagpupush sa atin, mapapalakas nila yung loob mo na magiging successful ka dun sa gagawin mo. As you can see, the intimacy have a positive effect in our life. So, let's move on from isolation, which is kabaligtaran ng intimacy. If intimacy is positive, then the isolation is negative. So, let's proceed on it. First factor of the causes of isolation is the poor romantic relationship and no deep intimacy. Syempre, on this stage, 19 to 40, you were looking for someone who make you feel love and make you happy. Pero wala kang makita, wala kang jowa. And yun nga, wala kang, you don't have intimacy na yung closeness mo sa bawat isa. Yung closeness mo sa family mo, closeness mo sa friend mo, wala ka nun. Na nagiging depressed ka na, kakaisip na, bakit walang nagmamahal sa akin? Bakit ganito? Bakit ganon? Puro bakit na lang yung naiisip mo na yun, madidepress ka na lang kakaisip at hindi mo alam yung reason. Second is few and no relationship with family and friends. So, isa din to sa mga nagpapahirap sa ating mga tao. Kapag wala kang kaibigan, syempre lonely ka. And also, wala kang family na sobrang nagkakaroon talaga ng big impact sa bawat tao na isa to sa mga dahilan ko bakit din madaming mga estudyante, maraming tao yung nagde-depress. minsan nga ano pa to in suicidal, pero wag naman sana. Sabi nga doon, magsasite din ako ng isang example. Ang example nga dito na this stage is 19 to 40, yun nga, bago ka lang sa college and malayo yung bahay mo sa school nyo. So, you had to go in a dorm. So, in that dorm, bago siyang environment, bagong tao. So, you have fear on your heart na marireject ka lang if you socialize with them. So, hindi mo in-overcome yung fear mo. Nagstay ka lang being lonely na nagpapahirap sa'yo kasi wala ka nang family and wala ka pang friends na wala ka mapagsabihan ng nararamdaman mo and madedepress ka. Pwede din naman na you have friends pero malayo ka sa kanya. Yung friends mo, may friends ding iba. So, yung friends mo, palagi niyang pinupost sa social media yung friends niyang iba. So, may isip mo na, bakit ganon? Bakit hindi niya ako pinupost? Baka hindi niya ako mahal? So, nagkakaroon ka ng attitude na nagdadahilan kung bakit lumalayo yung loob nila sa'yo. Lastly is the weak social support network. Isa din to sa nagpapahirap sa atin at isa din to sa naglilid ng depression sa atin kasi kapag may gagawin tayong bagay, walang isang tao na magsusupport tayo. Puro sarili na lang natin. So, minsan hindi na natin tinutuloy yung mga gusto natin gawin kasi meron tayong doubt sa sarili natin tapos walang nagpapalakas ng loob natin. So, sayang lang yung mga nasa isip natin na gusto natin gawin kung wala namang nagsusuporta sa atin. So, minsan naman, madalas sa pelikula na papanood natin na minsan, yung walang nagsusuporta sa kanya. Pero in the end, naging successful siya. Pero ano yung attitude niya? Makikita mo na parang ang sungit niya, ang taray niya. Meron siyang attitude sa sarili niya na ayaw niya palaging merong isang tao na naglalove sa kanya. Yun nga, sinabi ko nga kanina, yung isolation is, nagkikreate na ito ng bad attitude sa atin na nagkakauses na din na yung mga taong nasa malapit natin, pinipili na lang nilang lumayo sa atin. So class, ang isolation and intimacy is a choice from us kasi choice mo naman kung i-overcome mo yung fear mo Kung mag-stuck ka lang doon, parang ikaw din naman yung magsasuffer. So, maganda na din yung i-push natin yung sarili natin na i-overcome natin yung fear natin. So, magkaroon tayo ng relation sa friends natin, sa family, yun. Sabi nga is, always choose the positive side. Let's have Miss Giselle Alpot to discuss how to build intimacy.
So, thank you very much, Ma'am Crystal Twisa, for introducing me. And now we are going to talk about how to build intimacy. So some of the important tasks that can play a role in succeeding or struggling at this point of development include: number 1 is being intimate. This is more than just engaging in sex. Maaring marami sa atin na kapag narinig yung word na intimate, may isip agad is romantic relationship with sexual partner. But hindi yun ganun lang. Being intimate means forging emotional intimacy and closeness. Hindi naman kailangan magkaroon ng sexual partner para masabi na intimacy. Dahil we can gain intimacy through our friends, having friendship, to our loved ones, to our mother, father, or to our siblings, to all of our family. So at the point of romantic relationship, so the bond between two people changes in a profound and meaningful way. So kunwari, I have a friend and we both more like good friends. And then we like to cuddle each other and then sudden we became a lover. So this reflect not just only in how we perceive and treat each other physically, but it perhaps more significantly shown the much greater level of emotional closeness. Maaaring marami sa atin na kapag narinig yung intimacy or intimate, ay having a romantic relationship with sexual partner ang iisipin agad. Pero sabi ko nga kanina, hindi lang about sa sexual relationship yan. It is about closeness. closeness in a particular people. Like, kunwari, sino ba yun sa inyo yung may best friends, or yung close friends na napagsasabihan ng kanilang nararamdaman or secrets na hindi alam ng ibang tao? Ever had a deep conversation or told a secret to a friend or close friend? So, kung kapag kayo nakapagsabi na sa iba or sa inyong close friends na tinuturing, it is a sign of intimacy. So, bakit natin matatawag na intimacy yon? Kasi, pinagkakatiwalaan mo yung pinagsabihan mo. You are both close. Close ka na, kaya mo nang ipagkatiwala yung mga hindi alam ng ibang tao, yung secret mo, yung tinatago mo na ikaw lang yung nakakaalam, pero isi-share mo dun sa pinagkakatiwalaan mo. At sa taong yun, kaya mong sabihin yung mga nararamdaman mo. Yung mga hinanakit, yung mga saya, yung failures, yung success, at kung ano-anong about sa sarili mo na hindi alam pa ng iba. And in that way, honesty is the one of the example of intimate relationship, of having intimate relationship. Bakit honesty? Dahil sa age natin na ito, as a young adults, humahanap tayo ng taong mapagkakatiwalaan natin o yung mapagsasabihan natin ng mga sikreto natin sa buhay or yung mga private information about ourselves. Humahanap tayo ng taong totoo sa atin na hindi pagsasabi sa kung sino-sino yung mga information na kinikip natin sa sarili natin. At alam nyo lang, bot. And lagi natin tatandaan na if you're always playing a character in front of everyone, you can never open up. And this make you feel isolated. So number 2 is caring for others. It is essential to be able to care about the needs of others. Bakit? Kasi relationship is reciprocal. And we all know that in this stage, getting love is important. But so is giving it. So kapag tayo ay may care sa iba, ramdam nila na merong karamay sila. Andyan yung meron yung makikinig sa mga paliwanag nila, merong makikinig sa mga problema nila, merong mag-a-advise sa kanila. And in that sense, nakakapagpaluwag ito ng pakiramdam. Alam naman natin ang pakiramdam kapag may nagkikare sa atin. Diba ang sarap? Nang dahil sa care na yon, which is not just a care, but it also shows love. Yung pinag-carean mo is magkikare back sa'yo when the times na ikaw naman yung nandun sa posisyon na ganun sa kanya. Na kung saan, ikaw naman yung magsasabi sa kanya na mga nararamdaman mo, na mga saloobin mo. And in return, sa care na binigay mo sa kanya, makikinig sa sa'yo. And yung pakikinig na yon will shows love na. Yung closeness na mabubuo sa inyo, that's intimacy. So number 3 is making commitment. Part of being able to form a strong relationship involves being able to commit with others for a long term. Commitment means dinededicate mo yung sarili mo for a cause or for something or to a person. So the main goal of making commitment is that for each party to feel the sense of security and control. Dahil kapag ang dalawang involved sa relationship is may commitment na, they will feel comfortable of having expectations kung paano magbe-behave yung kanilang partner. And in that matter, it helps na ma-predict natin yung mga situations na maaaring dumating at kung paano natin yun isosolve or kung paano tayo act accordingly. Having some control and feel the security in relationship is helpful in many ways. Bakit? Katulad sa pagpapalaki ng magulang sa anak. For a couple na committed na sa isa't isa, it would be easier for them na magpalaki ng kanilang mga anak. That's because yung bata is isinilang, utterly defenseless, and need nila yung parents nila constant prayer lang. Katulad sa akin. My parents are committed to each other. That's why I am born like this. Lumaki ako ng maayos together with my siblings na maayos ang pagpapalaki ng magulang. Dahil nga alam nila kung paano na kami i-raise. Dahil alam nila i-act kung paano maging magulang at magpakamagulang sa mga anak. Alam na nila kung paano umak as a mother and as a father dahil committed na sila sa isa't isa. Pero lagi natin tatandaan na before gumawa tayo ng commitment, mag-isip muna tayo. Think carefully dahil alam naman natin na ang commitment it obligates you to do something. Pero some commitments is large like in marriage. And loyalty and the desire to keep the relationship going for the foreseeable future matters. Loyalty. Kasi paano ka bubuo ng commitment kung mismo sa sarili mo ay hindi mo ma-build yung loyalty? And in relation, yung desire na i-keep yung relationship nyo for a long term at tumagal in the future is important for both of you. Hindi naman pwedeng isa lang yung gusto na ganon. Hindi naman pwedeng yung partner mo lang or ikaw lang. Kailangan pareho kayo. Pero at the same time, dapat kilala mo yung sarili mo, kilala mo yung sarili mo at yung pagkukumitan mo. Dahil yung mga taong hindi pa nila ganap na nahahanap yung identities nila or hindi pa nila ganap na kilala yung sarili nila, ay maaaring sila yung mga taong may trouble sa relasyon. Kasi nga 'di ba, paano ka makakapag-commit or magiging stay committed kung mismong sarili mo hindi mo pa alam or hindi mo pa gaano kilala kung sino ka, kung ano ka, at hindi mo pa alam kung ano yung gusto mo talagang mangyari in the near future sa iyong buhay. Kaya napakahalaga na desidido tayo at napag-isipan nating mabuti bago tayo gumawa ng commitment. So last is self-disclosure. So this involves sharing part of yourself to the others while maintaining a strong sense of self-identity. Ito yung pagiging mapagbigay sa ibang tao ng about sa sarili mo. Sinishare mo yung part mo sa ibang tao at hindi ka self-centered. Self-disclosure is a process of communication na kung saan nire-reveal mo yung information about sa sarili mo. Like thoughts, aspirations, feelings, success, failures, mga favorites mo, likes, dislikes, na gusto mong i-share sa iba. So, itong self-disclosure na ito is important in building an intimacy. Bakit? Dahil it promotes attractions na kung saan nafe-feel natin yung sense of closeness sa mga pinagsasabihan natin na mga information about sa sarili natin or sa mga nagsasabi sa atin ng mga information about sa sarili nila. Pero lagi natin tatandaan na mas nag-i-increase yung closeness if the disclosures is about emotional rather than factual. Alam naman natin na kapag ang topic ng pinag-uusapan is more on emotional, mas nakakadala. And yung sense of empathy is present dun. And in that matter, intimacy can be built. Pero lagi natin tatandaan na hindi dapat lahat i-disclose natin sa sarili natin na isasabihin mo lahat. Wala na natira sa'yo. Siyempre, may mga tao pa rin na hindi natin masyadong kilala. Kaya mahalaga na kilalanin natin muna sila bago tayo magsabi ng kung anong-ano sa ating sarili, lalo na kung private ito. Itong mga private information about sa sarili natin can be a threat for us kapag yung relationship mo between sa pinagsabihan mo is hindi na nag-work. Maaaring may mga taong may trouble pa or mahirap pang pagkatiwalaan, maaaring siraan ka sa iba gamit yung mga sensitibo or private information na shinare mo sa kanya kapag nagkataon. And that's all for how to build intimacy. And now, here is Ma'am Lauren Magbuo to discuss about how to overcome isolation.
So, how to overcome isolation? First, isolation is an act of fearing intimacy and avoiding commitments and relationships with other people. So, in order to overcome it, one must avoid negative self-talk. We all know that what we think and what we say to ourselves has an impact to us, especially in our ability and confidence to develop relationships with other people. That's why if you're a negative thinker and you think so lowly of yourself, then you'll never be able to find relationships with other people. Why? Because you're not helping yourself. Hindi mo tinutulungan yung sarili mo, hindi mo minamotivate yung sarili mo, na kaya mo naman palang i-overcome iyong phase na yon. That's why if you found yourself having negative thoughts and you found yourself thinking so lowly of you, then thinking so lowly of yourself rather, then you must replace it and find a new way to replace it with a new one. And when we say a new one, of course, it's a positive thoughts. Bakit? Dahil kapag tinitingnan mo o minomotivate mo yung sarili mo, ibig sabihin nun, binibigyan mo ng lakas ng loob yung sarili mo na ma-overcome yung isolation phase na yun. So, the second one is build skills. We have this mindset in life na in order to overcome circumstances in life, one must face it bravely and think of a new ways and build skills in order to do so. It is same as here in overcoming isolation. One must practice their social skills in order to help themselves develop relationships with other people. Kumbaga, they're trying to step out of their comfort zone and they're trying to do something new. It is like they are using those skills to enhance their ability in forming a relationships and commitments with other people. Kaya mahalaga po talaga na i-enhance natin yung ating social skills para magamit natin ito bilang step-by-step na process para ma-overcome yung isolation phase na pinagdaraanan natin. The third one is determine what you like. In this case, it is important to determine the things that interests you. Kumbaga, your likes and dislikes and everything. Kasi this can also play a big role in developing relationships with other people. Kumbaga po, halimbawa sa friendship, sa isang circle of friends, may mga tao na doon sa circle of friends na yun, mas nagki-click together yung mga tao na may same personalities or mutual interests. Kumbaga yun yung nagiging pundasyon or nagiging dahilan kung bakit mas nagiging close sila at mas nagiging malapit sa isa't isa. Ayun po, that's why as what I had said earlier, knowing the things that interest you can also have a great impact in forming and developing relationships with other people. The fourth one is evaluate your situation. It is same as in determining what you like, wherein you're trying to figure out what type of relationship and partner you're looking for. It is like you are trying to figure out if you want to have a partner na pang matagalan or pang mabilisan lang. And the type of relationship na short-term or long-term commitments. Lastly, it is practice self-disclosure. So we all know that sharing the aspects of ourselves are somehow difficult for us, especially if we have the so-called trust issues and some other personal reasons. We are somehow hesitant to openly and willingly share ourselves to others. That's why we find it hard to communicate with them. But in this case, we can use those aspects as a practice to step out of our shell. Kumbaga, gagamitin mo yung mga aspects na yon para to finally step out of your comfort zone at try to do something new na pakikipag-communicate naman sa iba. Although you might find it hard, but Of course, you'll do it in a slow pace or slow manner. Kumbaga, it is like you're trying to step out of your comfort zone and you're trying to practice disclosing some aspects of yourselves to others in a slow pace or slow manner. So those are the things that we can do to overcome our isolation. And before we end our discussion here, let us have the summarization or the highlights of the topic that we had discussed. The sixth stage of Erikson's psychosocial development is intimacy versus isolation. It happens in the young adulthood stage, which are ages from 19 to 40 years old. Its basic virtue is love, and the important event here is romantic relationships. The main conflict here is finding commitments and relationships with other people, and the major question here is, will I be loved or will I be alone? Erikson believed that in this stage, self identity is important, or strong sense of self-identity is important, because he believed that those who have a strong sense of personal identity are the ones who have the possibility or tendency to have stronger and healthier relationships with other people, while those who have the poor sense of self have the tendency to become isolated with other people. Erikson believed that during this stage, success leads to strong relationships while failure leads to isolation or loneliness. During this stage, we begin to explore relationships with other people and we begin to share ourselves more intimately with them, which could lead to long term commitments or short term commitments. I had also read that Erikson defined intimacy as not just a sexual relationships but as well as forming or sharing openly themselves to others in a way na makaka-form ng relationships such as friendships, acquaintances, or so on. Kumbaga, hindi lang siya nakafocus dun sa forming romantic relationships but as well as sa mga friendships po or acquaintances. I had also, or it is also mentioned earlier in the past topics or past reporters, that isolation has 5 stages, which are infatuation, landing, burying, resurfacing, and love. Meanwhile, we also have the so-called isolation. When we say isolation, it is an act of fearing intimacy and avoiding commitments and relationships with other people. And in order to overcome it, one must avoid negative self-talk. He or she must build skills and determine what they really like. And lastly, they must evaluate their situation and practice self-disclosure. That's all. So those are the things or the important things to remember in Erikson's sixth stage of psychosocial development. And thank you for listening and God bless us all.